But how long have you been in Beijing? Just for a couple months?
No, I think it's a little bit more than some months. So my first arrival in China was 1979 in March.
Wow, everybody listen, 1979.
So he's been in China longer than you have.
Yes, I wasn't here in 1979. Right? Well, I do want to know the years before I was born.
Yeah, and I arrived here with my students from Technical University of Berlin, 25 students, and we made the trip from Berlin via Moscow through Siberia, Mongolia to Beijing by train.
Wow,
you didn't walk?
No.
They had trains back then?
I heard a few people who were here on that time. They're talking about the fascination of taking trains.
It was extremely difficult to come here, and we celebrated as a miracle when we got the information that we got the visa, that we are accepted as a group to come here. And that time there was only one airline, which does not exist anymore, Swiss Air, was flying from Europe to Beijing. But it was too expensive for us at that time, so we took the train.
And you came to China with a group of people?
25 students, yeah.
How many of them survived?
More or less.
Siberia, so
only 12. We had to eat the others.
And what do you do here? What do we do in here?
Yeah, we are landscape planners, and we were fascinated about the Chinese culture concerning the sustainability of the agriculture. So we were interested in how did China survive as the oldest culture of the world in terms of agriculture. So that was our interest.
You came in '79 by train. How long did this train trip take?
8 days. 2 days break in Moscow. Altogether 8 days. 1 day from Berlin to Moscow, 2 days break, and then 7 days from Moscow to Beijing.
This route and this tree still running now?
That's the
Trans-Siberian Railway.
The small tracks to Russia, then the large tracks through Russia, then the wagons were transferred to the small lanes again in Beijing. So it was interesting.
What was China like at that time, 1979?
Yeah, that we had to rough.
Had they invented fire yet?
They were
what about the wheel?
And everything.
Also weird, yeah. So.
Anyway,
first ones with everything anyway. 5,000 years
not
old.
that many cars on the street, right?
No, when we came here, it was quiet. We were located at the Tiananmen Hotel, that's south of Tiananmen Square. This still exists, this hotel. I was going there to see that. It exists. Tiananmen Hotel still exists. That was fascinating because everything disappeared from that time. And when we woke up the morning, we had...
Is that people speaking German?
No. That were the cyclists out of
the
the street.
So there must be a lot of cyclists.
Wow.
So the little bit of this noise when they turn the wheel.
Can you hear like birds singing at that time on the streets?
No birds.
No birds.
No, that was so shocking, and it's still shocking for me that springtime, no birds. So I don't know whether you realize that in Perth there are no real birds singing in springtime. We have only sparrows and magpies. No. That's these birds, black and white birds, but no real birds singing. So that was a real shock. So they have no birds here. Where are all these birds?
But what about Chinese people at that time?
They had birds.
In cages.
In cages.
In cages, yeah. And they were all dressed in olive, blue, and gray. All look the same. So that the typical prejudice we had in the West that all Chinese look the same. So it was really true at that time concerning the dress.
You've been in China all these years since that time? Or you travel back and forth?
That was the first time for 1 month. And then I went back, and at that time people were asking, can you imagine to live in that country or work? So, what a question. It's no question. You cannot stay here. It's impossible. At that time it was really impossible to stay here. And I couldn't also not imagine to stay here. And then after that, I forgot about China because I was a landscape planner, not sinologist, so I had to do other things. But one thing is very strange what we did. We brought a oak tree from Germany.
Wow.
we said what to bring as a gift from Germany, and then the oak tree is something very special German, because if the winners get a garland of oak branches and so, and we want to plant this oak tree in Dajai. And if you talk about nowadays on Dajai, I said, what is Dajai? Dajai was that famous agricultural commune at that time, the starlight of agricultural development. So we had to go there. They fought against natural disasters and counter-revolutionaries, and so that was the really great people at that time. So in Shanxi, south of Datong. And we went there and we planted that oak tree, and then we saw the landscape. Oh my God, bare, nothing, no grass, no trees, nothing. Only our poor oak tree there. But the people, they're happy.
He's so lonely.
They're happy, and they say, we had to smuggle this oak tree through the border from West Berlin, through GDR, through Poland, through Soviet Union, through Mongolia. It was always hidden in the luggage department, so that nobody could see our oak tree, because it was illegal to do that at that time, and it's still illegal.
Right, plants, because diseases. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
It was nice knowing you, Ali. Here he is admitting to the crime here on live radio. We'll come visit you.
79, 30 years, I don't know.
Breaking quarantine law. But we managed to let that tree also survive. And we planted it there. The party leader accompanied us to a little hill, and we dig a hole, and someone came with 3 buckets of water, and we planted the tree. And they said, Ali, you have to give a speech, and I had to have the speech. So we bring this to celebrate your successes in agriculture development, and so, and then later we thought, what a silly idea to bring an oak tree to China. This oak tree lives in humid climate, and here is nothing, only nearly desert, dry. They cannot survive.
But probably just the wrong place.
Yeah, and how would
the whole country is the wrong place.
How would they care about such a stupid tree we brought? And then I had 70 years later, I was doing a project in Shanxi, and they asked me, do you have a wish at the end of the project? I said, yes, I want to go to Dajai. Dajai? Why do you want to go to Dajai? I said, because we planted an oak tree there. No. Yes, you did. Cannot be. I said, yeah, I know it probably died, but I want to go there and see whether it really died. What happened? And I was really expecting that, say, okay, yeah, we remember these crazy students from that time, but
is it still alive?
And I went there, and the people were asking, and then the wife of the former party leader said, I remember, and I know where it is located. And then she brought me or us to that hill, and there was the oak tree. The whole hill full of oak trees.
Wow.
The big one on top and the smaller ones in the middle. So it
spread around.
Reproduced it.
Wow.
How did it grow in the desert?
Yeah. Nobody's taking care of it?
Obviously, they took care.
By itself?
Obviously, they took care.
They took
and
care.
It has the stem has a diameter of 15 centimeters. So my forestry colleague said, it is not an indigenous, that means a local oak tree. Mm-hmm. So it is most probably a foreign oak tree. Mm-hmm. And concerning the time, 15, 16 years, diameter, growing normally, yeah, it can be. So they say, you found your oak tree.
Wow.
And that was, our oak tree.
We should write a song for it, right? Yeah. We should write a song for it.
In Chinese.
Called Ali the Criminal.
Yeah.
You know, there is a saying in Chinese, if you want to get rich, plant trees first.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah, and what surprised me was that there's produced so many little seedlings. I couldn't count them, how many. The whole tree, the whole hill was full of little oak trees. And it was green. At that time it was bare. And now it was really green. That was amazing. So I was so moved.
Thank you for oak tree.
Thanks
so much.
I was so moved.
And that's our agricultural expert, Ali, who smuggled an oak tree into China.
Are you going to visit him when he goes to prison now?